I need to clean up around me. So for now, you just get hands. We are rebuilding, as the title of the stream says, my first keyboard group buy, which was the Space65 Cybervoyager. I got the Ocean colorway, and the original intent or plan was to pair that keyboard with GMK Bushido. This rebuild is kind of exciting for me in two ways, and this sounds really bad, especially if anybody like watching this now or in retrospect know the dollar value of the Space65. I just never used it. I built it, put it together, and I just stopped using it. Part of it was because when I first got it, my switch of choice was tactile switches, and it was the first keyboard that I had to learn how to solder, and I had a lot of reservations and hesitations on doing that. You know, I had to learn how to solder. At the time when I built the board out with the Jade Blacks, were a very tactile switch. At the time, I really liked them, but shortly after putting these switches in the board, I stopped liking tactile switches. I think what ended up doing tactile switches in for me were ergo clears. I made my first set of ergo clears. I just liked the light tactility, and then I was like, you know what I've never actually done? I've never actually given linear switches a try. Well, I had creams, so I went back to the creams, as you know, they're scratchy or whatever, but I like them a lot. I had a Tofu 65 and I did an O-ring mount, and I enjoyed using that keyboard a lot. And from that point on, I went straight into using linear switches. And because of that, like, I immediately stopped using the Space65. I probably knew at the time I could desolder the switches, but my first experience with desoldering was by like a sucker in my soldering iron, and that sucked. No pun intended. But then I got the Glarsis gun, and I spent last week or over this past weekend desoldering the board, and now I've cleaned everything up. The board is good to go to be essentially rebuilt. So that's where we're at. That's kind of the story. It holds a special place in my heart because it was the first group buy mechanical keyboard that it's a lot of money you invest in the keyboard, right? So it was the first one that I had ever invested that huge chunk of money in, and now I'm excited because I finally, I know I will use it. So the board typically comes with a carbon fiber plate. You know, there's flex to it, but not a whole lot. This is a top mount, so it is a pretty firm typing experience if I remember correctly. But yeah, so this is the plate it comes with normally. However, the plate that we're going to go with this time around is going to be the one that I just mentioned from Hype Keyboards. This is a FR4 plate. There are a couple differences. There's small cutouts by in certain sections of the board, and this is far more flexible, which means this should soften the typing experience a little bit. So I'm excited for the plate. Oops, punch my microphone. We made it. We made it. Dude, look at this. Look at it, man. Look at that. This is the butt, if anybody's curious. Space65, where you be? I have used QMK often in the past, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not. But hey, man, this is pretty nice. I guess we should get a sound test, right? That's not bad. That's pretty good.